That was important. Okay, thank you all very much for being here. I'm very excited about today. We don't do something like this often. As a matter of fact, it's the first time I think we've ever done it here in the state of New York. I'm very pleased to welcome my colleagues, the governors who are participating today. Governor Murphy from the great state of New Jersey. He's here with his Senate leader, Steve Sweeney. I want to welcome them and thank them. We have Governor Wolf from the great state of Pennsylvania, and it's a pleasure to join with him. And we have Governor Lamont, who is here from Connecticut. We did a visit to Connecticut a few weeks ago, and we were talking about what we could do together, and this idea was actually brainstormed at that meeting. And Governor Lamont has Senator Abrams from Connecticut, and we welcome her here also. We want to thank Governor Polis from the state of Colorado, who sent a team here today to talk to us about Colorado and what Colorado has learned from their experience. We also want to thank Governor Baker, who sent a team from Massachusetts, which is, as you know, legalized marijuana. And they're going to speak to us about their experience. I'd also like to thank my legislative leaders, Speaker Carl Heastie and Senate Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, for being here. Before we begin, we lost a great congressman last night, Elijah Cummings. I had the good fortune to work with him when I was in Washington, and he was really special. He was the real deal, as they say. He had passion. He was beautiful to listen to from the microphone, and he was doing extraordinary work in Washington, and we lost him much too young. So we remember him today, and we remember him every day. Why don't we start by going around the table so people can introduce themselves? We'll start to my right.
Hi, I'm Sue Terry. I am the General Counsel at the Executive Office of Public Safety for the state of Massachusetts.
I'm State Senator Mary Doherty Abrams from Connecticut.
My name is Steve Sweeney. I'm the Senate President for the state of New Jersey.
I'm Tom Wolf, Governor of Pennsylvania.
I'm a friend of Tom Wolf, Governor of Pennsylvania.
I'm a friend of Governor Cuomo, that's Lamont.
Phil Murphy from New Jersey.
Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Senate Majority Leader from New York.
Carl Hastie, Speaker of the New York State Assembly.
Ian Sieb, I am Governor Jared Polis, Special Advisor on Cannabis.
Dr. Nicole Alexander Scott, State Health Official for Rhode Island, and Governor Gina Raimondo sends her regards. We have a wonderful team here from Rhode Island on her behalf as well.
Thank you very much. This is, as you can see, the Cannabis and Vaping Summit. Cannabis is the technical word. New York, we still call it basically marijuana, but we wanted to be respectful. This is a very important topic, and it's probably one of the most challenging issues that I know that I've had to address in the state of New York. It is complicated, it is controversial, and it is consequential. And that is a very difficult and challenging combination. Consequential because if you do not do it right, you can do harm. And the whole purpose here is to do good. So it is very important. It's also, there's not all that much history and experience here to follow. And that's why Colorado and Massachusetts are extraordinarily helpful to us, and I think will be instructive. The teams have already done a lot of work before today. They've been working for weeks, I'd say about 2 months, Governor, on a staff level, putting together the issues and doing the preparatory work. They've divided the issues into 5 main categories. The first is vaping and related issues. The vaping issues in and of themselves are pressing and important. And then vaping connects to the legalization of marijuana because much of marijuana is also vaped. So the first session will be vaping. The state of New Jersey, team from the state of New Jersey is going to take a lead on that presentation. The second category is market regulation and social justice issues on legalization, empowerment issues on legalization, and the state of Pennsylvania is going to take the lead on that issue. The public health consequences of cannabis, marijuana, and vaping. New York will take a lead on that. We have Health Commissioner Zucker here. And then public safety issues. And there are significant public safety issues. We have more experience with alcohol and driving than we do with driving while under the influence of drugs such as marijuana, and Connecticut will take the lead on public safety issues. We'll then have a best practices and lessons learned session where the state of Colorado will talk us through their experiences, because they were, in many ways, the case of first impression, and they went through a number of iterations. So what did they learn, and what can we take from that? Basically, the point is, this is a challenge for all of us. There's a desire to do this. I believe the people of this state and our surrounding states have a desire to do it. But the old expression, the devil is in the details. How you do this is all the difference. And as I said, it can be a positive if done right. It can be a negative if it's not done correctly. So the goal is to collaborate with one another, to share resources and thinking collectively as we're all trying to figure this out. And to the extent regional coordination makes sense, why? Because we don't want someone driving from New York to Connecticut or from New Jersey to New York to buy marijuana and then drive back and possibly be using it in the car. So to the extent regional coordination makes sense and is politically practicable, we want to do that. Governor Murphy and I both sit on the Port Authority. Port Authority was way ahead of its time. 1921, regional coordination is the intelligent form of government. That was 1921. And the Port Authority has institutionalized that between New York and New Jersey. It runs the bridges and tunnels, et cetera. But it brings us together because it says, that's nice, you have your state lines, but you really operate as a region. And this extrapolates on that intelligence. This is a regional issue. And to the extent we can collaborate and do it as a collective, that is great. I understand all the reasons that makes that difficult, but that is the basic concept. With that, one other point. The federal government in situations like this would normally be helpful. In theory, the federal government is supposed to get involved in issues that go beyond one state's borders. That is not happening on this issue. It's not happening on the environment. It's not happening on infrastructure. It's not happening on anything. So Governor Lamont and I were together, and I said there's liberation in the acknowledgement that we are on our own. We are on our own. Stop waiting for someone to come in and help. We are on our own in a small boat in the middle of the ocean. Start paddling. Let's paddle together. With that, I'll turn it over to the co-convener of this summit, Governor Lamont.
Well, thank you, Governor Cuomo, and my fellow governors. Look, coming out of the private sector, I thought government had a bad case of the slows, and it took us a long time to get things done. But working with Governor Cuomo, that is not our problem. I mean, we got together a couple of months ago, and we talked about all the things we're stronger doing together on a regional basis and what we can do in collaboration. We talked about cybersecurity, we talked about transportation, and we talked about cannabis, and now vaping. And I said, well, that's great, Governor. Let's get together again next month to follow up on this. He says, that's great, Ned. I'll see you next week. And I got to say, and here we are. It's 2 months later. And we've convened all of our all of the states in the region, our staffs are talking together, figuring out how we work together on all the key issues to make sure if we do this, we do it right. But it's just unconscionable, as the governor and I, when we were talking about on our fishing trip, you know, this patchwork quilt of regulations makes no sense at all. You know, my state of Connecticut, people cross the border, they drive up to Massachusetts where they can buy some cannabis and bring it back, and that makes some real problems for our state police. They've got folks from Massachusetts over the age of 21 coming down and buying vaping products. It makes no sense. So this makes sense, sitting down, working together with New Jersey, working with Pennsylvania and our other neighbors to make sure what we do it on a standardized basis, we do it on a well-regulated basis with health and safety paramount. I think we're much stronger when we work together, and that's what this meeting is all about.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Governor. Let's turn now to Governor Wolf, who made probably the furthest trip up from Pennsylvania. So, Governor, thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here. And I want to thank you, Governor Cuomo, and Governor Lamont for co-convening this and getting the ball rolling on regional work. I also want to point out the Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania here, John Fetterman, who really pushed this in Pennsylvania. And what he found in his tour throughout the state, all 67 counties, was that we need to bring this into the open. We need regulation. We need to make sure we're protecting public health, public safety, but that's regulation, not prohibition. And in bringing it out into the open, as we found in so many other ways and other efforts, this is really an important thing. It's also important that we work together as a region to make sure that we're on the same page. So openness and making sure that we're doing this right is really important, and I appreciate your convening this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant governors are also by protocol called governor, so it gets confusing. So thank you, Governor. Thank you both. And Governor Murphy, who, as I mentioned, we do a lot of work together, and the Port Authority as that initiator of regional coordination really did set the template. And I thank the governor for all the good work we're doing together, and I thank the governor for being here today. Governor Murphy?
Thank you, Governor Cuomo. Thanks for convening us. Ned, thank you for being a co-convener. Governor Wolf, it's always great to be with you. And to the teams from Colorado, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. I'm honored to be joined not just by the Senate President, who I'm very happy is with us today, but our Health Commissioner, Judy Persicelli, is going to speak in a few minutes about vaping. I also want to echo what Governor Cuomo said about Elijah Cummings, who was a hero to so many, including to yours truly. I think we have, I did a quick math, we got about 44, 45 million residents represented by the 4 governors, and I think if you throw in Massachusetts, Colorado, and Rhode Island, you get up closer to 60 million. And it's already been stated, but doing things in an intelligent, coordinated, harmonious way is good for the entirety of not just our states, but our residents. And we really are talking about 2 enormous health challenges. And as we see it through the New Jersey lens, we've got an exploding vaping reality among youth, which has become an enormous challenge, health and beyond. And that's something I think we all share. And secondly, we've got a shocking gap between persons incarcerated in our system along racial lines, and it's almost entirely due to low-end marijuana offenses. So putting aside all the other factors that come into the cannabis discussion, the social injustice, at least in New Jersey, screams out at us, and it's why we've come to the table with such passion to try to get this done. And again, I think not just, and Governor Cuomo mentioned the Port Authority is a very good example and model where you can get a bi-state process that gives you a 1 + 1 = 3 outcome. Something more recently, Governor Cuomo and I, early last year after Parkland, as I recall, sadly, we formed States for Gun Safety. And I think that's a good model. And I'm happy that Dan Malloy and now Ned Lamont is in that coalition, and Tom Wolf in Pennsylvania are signing up as well. And I think it's a good model in the respect that we've each got our own realities inside of our states, legislative realities, what we can or cannot do through executive action, et cetera. But boy, we can be a lot more intelligent, smarter, and have a much more forward leaning result if we coordinate. And I think that's another good model that perhaps can guide our discussions today and beyond. So thrilled to be here on behalf of the great Garden State.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Governor Murphy.